Hello there, Saber Land. This is Gerard, new on the scene relatively for custom saber shop forums. This is going to be my first build in about 15 years. This one I have dubbed the Sakabato on account of that the hilt ended up with a reverse facing emitter. Alright, so what we got here is everything I've been working on over the weekend. Let's go over what I'm trying to pull off here. So you see I used a lot of JST connections. Until I get the inner chassis built, I've got all the room I need inside this tube here. Alright, so here's my prism. Got the speaker on the top there so I can get my SD card in. Got my rice port set up, got my power, all three channels, all of which are labeled on the JST connectors. So you got channels 1 and 2, and you got channel 3. These are on the negatives on account of prism. Alright, I've got the primary and auxiliary activation switches and ground. The positive leads for both switches are on one JST and the negative is in another. Let's see. Alright, and then over here we've got the switches. You got your auxiliary and your primary, and once that's set up correctly I'll be able to do the rocking motion to get the color change. It's the speaker. So it's the bass speaker. Alright, over here we've got the LEDs. I know these are excessively long, but that's to give me something to work with later because I'm going to have to clip and reconnect these later when I get the chassis finished. So I've got plenty of slack here to work with. But I've got, let's see here, I got amber in channel 1, red orange in channel 2, and white in channel 3. And then I've got the corresponding resistors set up over here. I didn't have heat shrink big enough for the red orange. I also used way too big of a resistor, but that's all I got on hand that'll not short out my LED. The other two got heat shrunk, and they look pretty spiffy there. Now I've got the negatives for the color channels going into the center of the star and then coming out the bottom. And I've got my positives all set up around in a daisy chain. I've got that coming out here. Now one of the things I ended up figuring out was I'm going to have to put my recharge port and my rice port right there. I'm going to use switchbox 19 when I get my hands on that. I'm going to go ahead and get this drilled out and tapped and ready to receive these guys over here. So since they're going to be right below the LED, I went ahead and I set up the negative for the rice port and the positive return for the LEDs into the same switch. And I spliced that off between the recharge port and the batteries. That way they're set up with the battery there and everything should wire up just fine. This connection here is going to go to the prism. Let's see. These here will go to the prism. Channel 3 you see is a single wire quick disconnect. A little mess over here. I'm ESD connected right now, so as I don't fry my board hooking this thing up. Alright, so this is the, oh, don't want to forget this part. Alright, so I've got the Prism SD card. This does come pre-programmed. I should have enough protection on my with my resistors to keep my LEDs from blowing if I pop this on with the default settings. So we're going to go ahead and put this in now before I connect the power. Okay, and we're in. Okay, I'm going to connect everything before I connect the power. I'll do that part last. So we're going to go ahead and bend that way. Start with the rice port since it's not really going to hurt much. Alright. Okay, there's my rice. Alright, I've got my speaker. Okay. Alright, we've got, these are all labeled as well, so I don't have to fiddle with the board too much here. Flip these up so I can get to them Alright, so channels 1 and 2. Channels 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay. Channel 3. You can see that they're lined up, all labeled, and wires on the correct sides. Okay, there's channel 3. Alright, next up are the switches. So I've got my positive leads for both switches in the same JST. I've got primary and auxiliary. Primary and auxiliary. Check that real quick. Yep. You can see the primary going off up here, auxiliary going off down here. And like I said, when this goes back into the clamp, it'll fit in like that, and the primary is going to be on the top and the auxiliary on the bottom. I won't do a reveal video today. If anything goes wrong, I'm going to come back to this next weekend. If everything does go right, then when I get an opportunity, probably Sunday night or Monday night, I'm going to go ahead and get this all put together and stuff everything into the sleeve there. Okay, and here's the negative. Okay, you got both negatives going in there, negative going in there. Okay, we're good. Let me check all my connections one last time before I hook up the battery. Soldering went well on the board. Better than I expected. Okay, good there, good there. These are good, good, good. Good. Oh, and the reason I did this ridiculous extension here in the center, so I can change out my resistors later if I want to change my LED star, or if I change my board and I need, or power supply, and I gotta, redo my math for my resistors. These are removable, so I can get at them and not have to cut wires and make a great big mess later. Oh, also, you can see on the star here, I marked channels 1, 2, and 3 on the aluminum, and then I've got it on some painter's tape as well on the opposite side. Now that they're all connected to the connectors, it's really not such a big deal, but if I'm going to be cutting these again later, I'm going to go ahead and leave those markers in place. Alright. Here's my lens. I'm not going to hook that up just yet. Alright, that's it. I'm ready for power. So, I got the kill key installed. So I'm going to plug this in. We shouldn't get anything too nasty here. Make sure I'm connected right. Yep. Okay, we have a complete circuit. Alright, moment of truth. Pulling the kill key should give me the boot sound from the sound card. Looks good so far. Alright, primary activation switch. Oof. Looks like I've got one of the 3 LEDs is lit up. It's looking pretty good. Let's try the oh, nice. There's the amber. That's white and orange. White and amber. Orange and amber. Back to red. Back to white. Amber. Woo! That's bright. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call this a successful test. We're going to kill power. Oh, Christ, that's bright. Okay. All right. We're going to try the sound bank selection. I'm assuming that's dark meat. Okay. That must be light meat. Okay. Okay, that must be dark meat. Oh! Alright, I think we're good to go. Okay, we're going to call that a successful test. I'll see if I can get this all stuffed into the hilt, and we'll try it again with a blade. Alrighty, Saberland, this is Gerard. As you can see, I got my Jedi spaghetti neatly tucked away into the hilt here. Alright, so let's boot this thing up. The recharge port's on the inside, so the kill key's already removed. I've already verified everything works. So, here we go. Seems to work pretty well. Gonna have to move the sound card a little further down to get the swing sounds to activate correctly, but clash seems to work fine. Okay, that works on alright. Alright, color change. That's just the white LED. That looks pretty cool. There's amber. I got an interesting pink here. Back to white amber. Ooh, the flicker is kind of dim. I played with the blade flicker settings, and I played with the motion settings. It seems I gotta either move the sound card or lower this or increase the sensitivity a little more on the swing. Some nice amber right there. Let's get the red flash on clash going on there. I didn't mess with any of the dye settings yet, so we're not getting 100% brightness. It looks good on camera, but in the naked eye it's pretty dim. So I'm going to get in there and do the math for manual calculation for the text file, the config files, and we'll get this all set up. And we'll do another video later. Also, the switches came out pretty well. I put the bubble card in there. The primary switch works just fine, but it doesn't quite get the activation switch, so I'm going to have to file it down on that end, give it kind of a rocking effect. That way I can get full functionality. Some thoughts on other things I'm going to probably end up doing is on the reverse side of the clamp, you get the little toggle here. On the opposite side is all hollow in here, so I'm going to go ahead and drill this out. We're going to put in 4 LEDs for the accents, and I'm going to wire the crystal chamber LED into the blade when it's time. I'm also probably going to swap out the star for an RGB or RG Royal Blue, and same thing with the LED that's going to go beneath the crystal as well. And one of the 4 will probably be power indicator, and then when it's on, it'll do the Knight Rider situation there. Other than that, there's a lot of other stuff I'm going to do to help. There's some weathering. I'm going to get a leather wrap for the back here. This part of the pommel here is going to get anodized black. Probably this part here for the clamp as well. So I'm going to take this all apart. And there we go. Here's the work in progress reveal of a successful electronics build. Thanks for taking a look.